What's up, y'all? Welcome to the NBA Weekly Post Game. This is where we share our views on the latest trending topics within the NBA. My name is Sha.
And I'm Evay, and we have a lot to talk about. In today's episode, we're going to talk about our player of the week and share with you guys some of our surprises for the NBA season so far. Let's get started.
My player of the week is Russell Westbrook. Look, I am sick and tired of all of the scrutiny that he's getting. And nobody's talking about Damian Lillard. Nobody's talking about other players having a rough start to the 2022 season. I don't care. Russell Westbrook has played every single game for the Los Angeles Lakers while his teammates have been in and out of the lineup. Say what you want about Brody, but he's my player of the week.
My player of the week is none other than Seth Closeout Curry. Doris Brooks in the game against, I forget what game it was. She said that she called Seth Curry closeout. I said, oh, that's sweet, because he did that mid-range shot to bring the 76ers up in the game against the Bulls. It was against the Bulls. But I picked Seth Curry as my player of the week because anytime you have a player like Seth Curry that can step up when two of the primary players on the team is out, and when the Sixers played against Portland, Seth Curry's 22 points really helped propel the Sixers to a win against Portland when Joel Embiid was out on injury management and Tobias Harris was out as well. And then also he followed that up with a subsequent 23-pointer with the next game. So Seth Curry has been really a great piece for the 76ers that's helped them, not the only one, because Joel Embiid is a beast, but he has helped them being a part of the roster to become the number one overall best team in the league as we speak. So Seth Curry, my player of the week.
Okay, nice. I like Seth Curry. I like what he's bringing because I'm telling you, Tobias Harris and Danny Green leave a big gaping hole, and Seth Curry has filled that gap for right now.
Yes. Go, Seth. Close out.
All right, so what is your biggest surprise so far? We're entering our fourth week of the 2022 NBA season. What has surprised you the most?
You know what? I know that this surprise is probably going to shock some people because of what this team is up against right now. But the Milwaukee Bucks are a surprise for me. And I understand why they are where they are in the standings. Anytime you have a disruption on your whole roster where your core players are not playing, we're talking about Drew Holiday has been out, Khris Middleton is out, Benzino is out, Lopez is out.
Yeah, everybody.
They can't get their roster together. And it's really sad for me because they are the reigning champions.
Yeah.
I know for a fact they did not expect their comeback in the 2021 NBA season to be this poor. Not any of their doing, of course, because Giannis is still beasting on the floor, but he can't. Again, this is another indicator that these superstars cannot do it by themselves. So although they may be great and they may be leading and scoring and they may be dunking and shooting out of this world, if they don't have the proper secondary players or role players on their roster, the team cannot win. And this is an example of that. And unfortunately for the Bucks, they're facing that right now. Because they are like maybe 10, if I'm not mistaken, in the Eastern Conference, and they won the chip last season. It's sad for me to see. So that is a surprise to me. I did not expect for them to come into this upcoming season and be so low in the ranking because of all the injuries that they're facing. So
yeah, and Khris Middleton's out. I know Giannis is like, oh my goodness. Here he is, a 2020 NBA champion, 2020 Finals MVP, multiple All-Stars. Oh my goodness. And this is what he has to deal with starting his, really, they're the champs. So everybody has to go through them. And right now it seems to be an easy road.
Yes. I know they didn't expect that, but this is a tell for all teams. If people are out and they're inconsistent in the lineup and they are great role players, it's going to impact how the team shows up in the rankings. And this is just a fact of that.
Yeah. So my biggest surprise so far And it's still early. I think we're like 10 games in right now, but it's a full month almost. And the Detroit Pistons have only won one out of 10, one out of 9 games so far. And that win was against the Orlando Magic, who was a terrible team. I had high hopes for the Detroit Pistons. And I'm surprised. And I know Cade Cunningham was out for several games, made his return, but they won the one game that he came back on. But come on, Jeremy Grant. This is Jeremy Grant's team. You got Isaiah Stewart, you got Sadiq Bey. They have a nice roster. I don't know what's going on and why they have not won more games. They're sitting somewhere at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and all the games that they have lost have been to Eastern Conference teams. If you can't win against your conference, don't think you're going to come to the West and try to grab a couple wins too. So I'm worried about the Detroit Pistons. I'm disappointed, and I'm hoping that they can turn it around.
Yeah. Do you think that they put too much emphasis on Cade Cunningham? I know he was the number 1 draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be that guy, but it didn't happen. He's not showing up the way Scotty Barnes is showing up for the Toronto Raptors. He's not showing up the way Evan Mobley is showing up for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I know he was out. I get it, all that. But when you come back, what I'm quite sure the Detroit Pistons were expecting is a performance like the other two I just mentioned. So hopefully he will get into rhythm, because if they need for him to carry this team, because Jeremy Grant will stand up. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm shocked. I am shocked. And you were really high on Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah. They're still young, so I don't want to put, and I don't think that this is one of those seasons like last season where it was just like, okay, let's just tank and get the first pick. They got the first pick already. Now they have a solid roster. Yeah. It's time to win some basketball games.
It's time to win some games. Mm-hmm. And I know they want to do that as well, because I'm quite sure you can only imagine that the Detroit Pistons fan base is like, we ready. We ready now.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I'm telling you, when you're the first pick, oh man, that pressure, that X on your back, everybody's gunning for you and everybody's watching to see. But then when you got players, like you said, Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes out playing, this Chris Duarte is out playing some of the number 1 picks. So, hey. It's tough. And come on, Cade. Let's go. Motorcade. Everybody's waiting to see what you can do.
It's really funny, because is this like the number 1 draft pick? Is it really all that? Because if I think back to the number 1 draft pick when Zion Williamson was drafted, we got Ja Morant killing the game right now. I'm just saying, how do you... Is it really, who was the number 1 draft pick? Oh, Anthony Edwards was the number 1 draft pick. Now I think he's just with unfortunately, a poor franchise right now. They just, I hate that his talent is being, I don't know, wasted is the right word, but I think that he would probably be better suited in on another team and maybe get more limelight, perhaps, which would make him look better. But you got LaMelo Ball
doing
it. So it's like, is the number 1 draft pick the pick to really have? I don't know. Just something to think about.
Hasn't been the last couple of seasons, I tell you that.
Oh my goodness. You may want to get 2, 3, and 4, because they showing out.
Yeah. Are you surprised that the Philadelphia 76ers are currently 8-2 and leading the Eastern Conference, and Doc Rivers picked up his 1,000th win?
Yeah, I think it is something that I was not anticipating. Now, I didn't know that the 76ers would be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. I came into the season believing that would be the case. But number 1, no. And the reason why I say that is because I really thought it was going to be the Bucks. I thought at least they would be below the Bucks, but the Bucks have their injury issues and all that good stuff. But so the 76ers is really balling. And to know that they are balling without Ben Simmons being on the court, Tobias Harris being out due to health and safety protocols. Their supporting cast, Thibault, Maxey, somebody else.
Cork Moss, he'll light you up.
Cork Moss, name, killing it right now. So whatever they have agreed to on their roster, and that chemistry that they have created for the 76ers has been something that's been shining. So the fact that they are actually number 1 overall, the best record overall as we speak, is amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, I am surprised that they are actually number 1. Yes.
I think I had the Nets at the top of the Eastern Conference. Kind of surprised that they are not with or without Kyrie because James Harden, KD can do it. But the Sixers and that Joel Embiid, I mean, can we just say that he's MVP status this season?
Absolutely. If he can just sustain health. So I am okay if the 76ers want to injury manage him. I call it load management, but I understand that what I believe is that load management has a negative connotation, clearly. Because when they say low management, people go back to Kawhi Leonard. Don't get me on,
Yep.
don't put me on that soapbox. Because
Yeah,
what's going on
please.
right now, is load management. And I'm okay with it. I
Uh-huh.
was okay with it with Kawhi. I'm okay with it with Joel Embiid. They want to
Mm,
now label it as injury management. It is what it is. But injury management, because if he becomes injured, he will lose the chance to be MVP this season. Because right now, the
mhm.
way he's playing, MVP for sure. That man, I don't care what you can contest me all day, Joel Embiid. You can contest Joel Embiid all day. It don't even matter.
It don't matter.
I'm gonna get this shot up. I'm gonna move this big body in this post, and you ain't gonna be able to do nothing about
Yeah. Oh man. Well, one could argue that Joel Embiid is just continuing what he did from last season.
it. I agree.
I thought if he would have stayed
Mm-hmm.
healthy, he would have been the MVP. It would not have been Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
He's continuing his stretch this season. If he continues, oh man, we're going to crown a new MVP. That is for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I agree with you on that. That's why I mentioned health is going to be his downfall for him not being able to receive the MVP award this particular season. He has to stay healthy. That's why I'm okay if they want to injury manage him.
Mm,
What's so great about them being able to injury manage him is that there are players on the 76ers that can sustain their wins. Like that is what's so powerful about a roster. When you're creating a roster, you want to make sure you can create a roster that when your number one goes out, 2, 3, 4, and all the way up to 15 can at least do something. At
yeah.
least. At
Hmm.
least. So they have a great, great roster. You know what matchup I cannot wait? The 76ers and the Warriors.
Ah. Two different styles of basketball.
I
Lots
know.
of three ball shooting though, but the
Mm-hmm.
Warriors don't have that inside presence. So I tip my hat to the Philadelphia 76ers because
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid's going to have a field day. He's going to be eating barbecue chicken in the paint. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, Joel Embiid is amazing. So the 76ers, number one, get it and stay there. However, we already know that just because you're number one overall, don't mean you'll go deep in the playoffs, i.e., Utah Jazz.
First round exits. Excuse me, the Sixers weren't they first in the Eastern Conference last season? I want to say yes.
Again, being first doesn't always mean best, but right now it does.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean best in the postseason, but it means best right now in the regular season.
Yeah, and we're still early, right?
Yeah.
10 games or so in the season. Some could say, oh, you guys are overreacting. It's too early. But hey, this is what it is right now.
Yeah,
And
right now.
if they can just continue, then they can stay ahead of the pack. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. And again, and if they're going to lose games, let's just be honest. Every team will lose a game. I'm not saying that they'll lose enough games so they'll drop down to a play-in tournament. No, I don't see that. Or just drop down and not even be a non-factor in
Hmm.
competing in the postseason at all. I'm not saying that about the 76ers, but they don't have to be number one for me to be knowing that they can compete long term with this current roster and the way they're playing right now in the postseason. I just know that today, as we speak, they're number one overall, and we're going to give them their flowers for that.
Yeah. And it's an extra energy too because they don't have Ben Simmons. I think the crowd is really rallying behind them. I'm telling you, if Ben comes back, I know, you say he's not going to wear the jersey again, but they are now fining him
No.
back to fining him $360K. Something is going to be done. Either they're going to trade him and get some assets, or Ben Simmons is going to suit up. Mark my words.
Okay. And he's going to come in and disrupt the whole scheme. I'm telling you, they need to get rid of him. They need to trade him. I'm not going to say get rid of him. They need to trade him. Trade him or release him. Get that man his money, release him, and move on. He can. I do not want Ben Simmons to show back up on the 76ers floor. I don't. It is going to disrupt the momentum they have right now. I believe that.
Well, it's going to send Maxey to the bench, right?
And we don't want to do that.
Well, I wonder if Doc would even do that, though. Here's a guy who kind of just shunned the organization. He's going to reward him by putting him in the starting lineup, even though he's making $40 million a year.
You know he don't want to be there. What difference does it make? If he's going to suit up and he's not going to give us what we need to help him through his what he's going through right now, because he's not giving the 76ers organization any information. This is why he's being fined. So yeah, if he suits up, no problem. He gonna get in where he fit in. And right now, he's not fitting in the starting lineup. Why would I want to bring someone in my starting lineup that doesn't want to be here? What I'm saying is it's going to disrupt. And he doesn't give me the type of person that's going to be able to show up to play and, do his job and leave. I don't want them to mess that up. If Maxey needs to remain in the starting lineup, then Maxey, that's where you should stay. Because they doing it. So
yeah, I like Maxey. He's young too. Oh man, it's gonna be great. Okay.
All right, y'all. That's all we got. And until next time, goodbye.
Peace, y'all.